Hey everyone, looking at some Canadian tickers. We're looking at CGC, MT, APH, OGI, ACB, and SPRWF. Couldn't get SL, the Canadian ticker, but SPRWF will do to show the pattern that we're going to be looking at there. So we saw an influx of money at the end of the week, and it was very clear that this was not a sector rotation because it's the same sector, but more of a geographical rotation where money sold the news in the U.S. as anticipated because the polls were very clear, and they moved their money to Canadian tickers. And it was a really awesome setup because we had the sector leader, CGC, with a very clear ascending triangle pattern, and it broke early, and there were a couple laggards that gave great entry opportunity, and they followed suit very shortly after. So let's start with the sector leader, CGC. Look at the ramp up in bull volume. That's exactly what the bulls want to see. An ascending triangle is when you have a horizontal resistance level and an ascending support line. You can see the range getting tighter and tighter. Look at the volume shrink as we get tight. And then as we break, we see that increase in bull volume. This is textbook and everything that the bulls wanted to see. Now we do have a bearish reversal candlestick Friday, very clear, just below $10 psychological resistance. We don't have any resistance levels due to the blue sky breakout, so it's psychological levels to be watching, and it was a day for profit taking heading into the weekend. Very clear bearish reversal doji, and a red day on Monday will confirm that. This upper Bollinger Band will be the first support level to be tested. That's going to be right around $9. Need to update that at the open, and if the bulls can hold that level, they will remain in breakout mode. If on Monday we close below this upper Bollinger Band, we will look for more pullback and more consolidation. It will be normal, healthy consolidation as long as we continue to see these periods of red days that have decreasing bear volume. And considering how much bull volume we have, I would absolutely assume that any red days that we see are going to see lower volume than we saw on this big bullish breakout day. So the breakout occurred right here on November 8th. And that was a very clear close at the high of the day above these resistances. Now let's look at the weekly, and then we'll look at the two names that very clearly had the exact same ascending triangle pattern and followed the leader to the upside, as the last video pointed out was potentially possible. So CGC on the weekly still looks beautiful. Highest volume week we've seen yet. Full-on bull breakout mode. Upper Bollinger Band on the weekly will be support. We'll have to keep an eye on that level if we do see some significant consolidation, as that will be in the low $8 range next week. But this is just a textbook bull breakout over the past few months, just like the daily is a textbook bull breakout, but indicating short-term consolidation is coming. So MT, same pattern, with a horizontal resistance line, multiple tops at that level, and seeing an ascending triangle of support, a support line that is ascending, tightening range. Look at the volume drop off as we get tighter and tighter and tighter, and then look at the clear break for the bulls. It happened on Thursday. We had a 2-day heads up from CGC, exact same pattern. Bull volume exploded to the upside, and we finished very strong. Not a clear bearish reversal candlestick like we saw on CGC, so that is a good sign as well. A little bit of an upper wick of profit taking from 550 psychological resistance. Nice round number. But the bulls are still very much in control. Same thing with the upper Bollinger Band. We will update that level on Monday and watch to see it hold as support. And we'll see if bulls can break 550 on Monday. We'll know they still have strength. If we see a lower high, we will anticipate short-term consolidation, just as we are anticipating with CGC. And same thing, watch the leader. If the leader were to consolidate for the first couple days next week, we can anticipate these names to follow. Weekly chart for MT, highest volume week for the bulls. Very clear breakout. Look at the consolidation, sideways trading. Very healthy, building support on the way up. Full-on breakout. Bulls are in absolute full control of MT as well. APH, same story. Upper horizontal resistance line. Ascending support, higher lows. Volume dropping off very clearly as the range gets tighter and tighter and tighter, waiting for a break. Ramp up of bull volume, explosion to the upside. Again, the breakout occurred Thursday and Friday. A 2-day heads up, or I take that back, a 1-day heads up from when, no, it was a 2-day heads up. CGC broke out on November 8th, and these names MT and APH broke out November 10th. So it is more of a bearish candlestick here as well, similar to CGC. Big upper wick of profit taking, psychological resistance, $5 on the nose. It is almost a bearish reversal inverted hammer, close enough to consider it that. We bounced off the upper Bollinger Band at the support for the low of the day. Bulls have to hold that level again on Monday. If we cannot do that, we will look for further consolidation and we'll be watching volume. Again, all of these names are so very similar when the sector is trading in unison like this, and we're going to look for volume to stay similar, but it's very clear that short-term consolidation is likely from these two candlesticks on these two names. Weekly time frame, highest volume candlestick. You see the pattern here. I'm repeating myself, but highest volume candlestick of the breakout, breaking above the upper Bollinger Band for the first time in months. Bulls in full control, but short-term consolidation is likely. OGI saw a break. This is a descending triangle pattern. Different setup, same result. We had a flat horizontal support line and a decreasing resistance line of lower highs. Look at the volume drop off. Tighter and tighter range. Where I draw these trend lines, it's the close of the candlestick, the real bodies is what they're called, that is important. And I'm ensuring when I draw these lines that no candlestick is closing above this resistance. So even though this candlestick broke above that resistance level, it did not close above it, and that is what is important. So we bounced off the support line 4 times. Bulls started to pick up on Thursday, and then they really powered through on Friday, looking for a bullish MACD cross. Closed just above the upper Bollinger Band of 311 in breakout mode, just above the recent high, and not a significant upper wick of profit taking. So because it's a different pattern, we'll look for OGI to potentially not trade in as similar a pattern as these other 3 previous names are likely to do. So we'll see if the Bulls can still close above this upper Bollinger Band on Monday. Updated at the open, it's going to be around 318 or so, I would say. And we'll have to see if the Bulls can keep that level and remain in breakout mode. If they can't, if we close below it on Monday, we will expect short-term consolidation. Look at that nice little bull flag. A bull flag is when you have a strong move to the upside and then consolidation on decreasing bear volume, nice decrease in bear volume with a horizontal support and resistance line, and then a break to the upside. It's a continuation pattern. It wasn't the highest bull volume we've seen on this move, so we're starting to notice some differences. Those 3 names, CGC, MT, and APH, they're really all trading in a pack. Those 3 are very similar. OGI, different setup, different volume, different setup and volume, but same result. So ACB is the lead bear because we have a very clear lower high, lower low pattern. This is a downtrend. You can't find many Canadian MJ stocks in a downtrend, and we have to break this downtrend. First, we need a close above this downtrend line, and the Bulls are really looking to break this lower high at 226. And a clear break above that level will break the downtrend pattern. We did establish a higher low at 185, but this chart is very clearly a lot weaker than those other ones. I know this isn't an IPO. We are just changing exchanges, but in terms of this price action, cannot compare it to those other 4 names. Weekly time frame, not much to see here with this information. It's all about the lower high pattern, and we now have a little bit of a higher low pattern, so this range is tightening, and we should see a clear break by mid next week, certainly by the end of next week. And last, we've got SPRWF. There's a nice trading opportunity coming here, and I would expect the break to occur on Monday. If not Monday, absolutely on Tuesday. So we have a very tight pattern here, a pennant of lower highs and higher lows. You can see how squeezed we are. There's pretty much nowhere else to go. We're going to see a clear break for the Bulls or the Bears. This $1 psychological resistance level has been very tough, and we have been unable to close above that level the past 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in the past 2 weeks that we've tested that level. So a close above $1 on Monday will be a bullish victory, and we'll be looking up at 108, a little double top. And if we get above 108, we're looking back up at 121, the high we've seen on this bounce. So SPRWF is one to watch on Monday, and SL, I know the numbers are going to be different, but the pattern will be the same in terms of the tight range. Look at the highest price for SL in the past 6 days, and if we break that on Monday, we'll know the Bulls have the upper hand, looking for a spike in volume and a move to the upside. And it does favor a bull break, number 1, because of the overall trend, number 2, because of all the other names making a bull break. So I would say odds are pretty good that we see a bull break on Monday for Supreme Pharmaceuticals, Inc. The weekly time frame shows how tight this pattern is getting. We consolidated lower highs, higher lows, tighter and tighter range. 10-week moving average support will be in the low 90s next week, and we're looking for a move over that tough $1 psychological resistance level. So that's what we're looking at for the Canadian names. Congrats to all the Bulls. I know we had a lot of Bulls in the chat room and a lot of profit taking on Friday as well. They saw the upper wicks forming and wanted to lock in those really nice gains. So we'll check back in mid next week, and hope you have a great rest of your weekend.